Here we go. Actually, I'm not going to share it quite yet. All right, yesterday we
Teachers, pardon the interruption.
tried.
Please
Sorry, getting an
verify
announcement.
your lunch count for pizza sandwich day. We have some zeros on there. And 10 minutes to go. Thank you.
All right, thank you, my friends, for waiting there. So yesterday we tried a little experiment for my friends here. Could they get on Zoom? And part of that, we had some breakout groups yesterday. And Mrs. Aubin and I observed some things, and we want to talk a little bit about what that looks like starting when we come back after, when you guys are remote and all of you are on remote, we're going to have a lot of breakout groups. And what we saw was a lot of people weren't participating in the way we were hoping. Now, that does not mean everybody was not participating in the way that we were hoping, but quite a few of us didn't seem to quite understand what was being asked of you. And so when you go into a breakout group, it's like as if you were here and in a small group, right? And so we expect everyone to participate. We expect everyone to have their camera on and be part of, because if you were here in a real group, right, you wouldn't have everybody be able to see you. And we'd be polite to each other, and we'd take turns, and we would make sure everybody was included, right? That's how we do that when we are a small group. And I know that my friends who are remote you've been doing this for a while, but some of you still need some reminders and practice about what it looks like to be in a breakout group. When you are in a breakout group, especially if it's a small breakout, if I put you in a breakout group of 10, which is very unlikely, then you might have your mute button on. But if there's 2 or 3 of you, do you need to have your mute button on? No, because you're talking as a small group, right? Now, you don't want to talk over each other, and sometimes even over Zoom, that's a little complicated. But it's extra complicated to mute and unmute, mute and unmute, mute and unmute. So when you go into a breakout group, unmute and have that conversation. It should be a conversation. And yesterday we saw a lot of people who weren't participating. And if you don't know what you're supposed to do, don't just sit there and feel sad and not participate. Ask. Ask your group, I'm not sure what we're supposed to be doing. That instead of sitting there and not getting anything done. So, because I saw yesterday several groups that had at least 1 or 2 people who knew what they were doing. And then a bunch of people who were just sitting there inside that breakout group. And that's a bummer, because then nobody gets to share ideas. That's the whole point of a breakout group, is to help each other and share ideas, right? And you guys have to be kind and gentle to each other too. If somebody's having trouble hearing or having trouble unmuting, you guys have to be, you know how it goes. You see Mrs. Harrison make those kind of mistakes, daily, right? So nobody's perfect. Just be gentle and kind about it and help each other along, just like you would if you were here, right? Okay. And it's fun to be able, especially when we're all remote, it's fun to see each other and have a chat. But you need to be talking about the subject that we're asking you. So I'm going to remind you that what yesterday's actual breakout group was for. And in that breakout group, we were looking at the story, Why the Frog Has a Long Tongue. Oh, no, I clicked on the wrong thing. See, nobody's perfect, especially Mrs. Harrison. So when my dock camera gets awake, then I'm going to show you that story, and we're going to figure out, we're going to do what you guys were supposed to do yesterday, and we are going to figure out where in the story those different parts are, just super quick. Now, obviously you guys weren't sharing screens, but you were talking, and here we go. At some point during a breakout group, you might be sharing your screen. It's possible. And so especially if you guys are comparing your stories you're writing and you're helping each other out, so you might be sharing. And if you do that, so not when you're in breakout groups, you should be able to do it in a breakout group. You should be able to do that. Yep. So yes, you're right. So Finn said sometimes it's disabled. That's because when it's a teaching time and the teacher's teaching, we don't want you accidentally sharing your screen. but during a breakout group, you should be allowed to do that. All right, why the frog has a long tongue. So that was 2 pages. If you could look at page 2 and 3 for me, that's where you should be. And you will also see, not too many pages later, this little part here, establishing the situation. That's when is the book, what is happening in the story, where is it, and when is it? Where on our story was the establishing the situation? Where was the box section on page 2 and 3 when you were having a conversation? Haley, which part? Where does it tell us what's happening, where, and when? Getting the reader into what we're supposed to be reading. The second paragraph? I think the second paragraph tells us, I think that it says not every year. So where's the when and where part though? Is that in the second paragraph? Look in the very first sentence. Long, long ago in a sparkling blue mountain lake. That's that first paragraph, right? So right here, I want you to draw that rectangle. That's that rectangle sign. That's actually a rectangle within a rectangle. Right there is our establishing the situation. So write that right next to that paragraph. Long, long ago in a sparkling blue mountain lake. So the setting was a sparkling blue mountain lake. Remember when we filled out that Google form? That's the answer I was looking for. Sparkling blue mountain lake. There lived a frog named Kicker. Kicker had smooth lime green skin. His big black eyes were red and gold and bulged pleasantly. When Kicker was happy, his eyes closed. What's that information? Which part of this is that? It's introducing the character. So everybody make a nice little smiley face right here. That's where our character is being introduced. There we go. So this is establishing the situation. Here's where we're introducing our characters. Now we're looking for our problem, our cloud. Where in our story does it tell what our problem is? So the second paragraph talks about he wants to be in the contest, right? But the third one, second paragraph, third paragraph. I need to practice, thought Kicker. Then the small fly buzzed by. He hopped into the air as high as he could. He opened his not so big mouth and then snapped it shut. But instead of tasting a delicious fly, Kicker heard loud croaks of laughter. Is that our problem? Yeah. Yes. So what are we going to draw next to here? The cloud, right? As long as you can kind of tell. Oh, my friend's at home. I'm so sorry. And I hope that's centered enough. This is not an arts, definitely not an art class. You can tell Mrs. Harrison is not super great at drawing, but just draw something that looks like a cloud so you know what it looks. Are you writing these down, Robert? You're supposed to be drawing these. All right, so there's our problem. Explain how the character responds to the problem. How does he or she feel? This is Kicker then. How does Kicker feel? What does Kicker think, say, and do? Where in our story does that happening? Lila Morris. Paragraph 4. So why don't you get some tiny stilts? So there's some space in here, isn't there? That's sort of the talking here. So Kicker dove deep under the water, embarrassed. All day long he tried unsuccessfully to jump up and catch flies. What can I do? Kicker thought. My little legs will never be able to hop as high as those bigger frogs. All day long Kicker tried to jump up and catch flies, but he didn't catch a single one. He felt terribly sad. His legs were sore, his mouth was parched from snapping open and shut. He reached his long tongue into the lake for a cool drink. Just then, Kicker had an idea, a very clever idea. He slowly swam over to a quiet part of the lake, still thinking about his wonderful idea. He knew now what he had to practice, and practice he did, day after day, working his muscles until he was strong and skilled. Is it both of those paragraphs? Yes. So we're going to draw our arrow. Doesn't have to be perfect in any way. There's our arrow. Both of those paragraphs are telling how the character is responding to the problem. So this is what I was expecting in that breakout room, for you guys to be talking about what section was each thing. I didn't expect the drawing part though. The drawing part wasn't expected. All right, so now we're down to, now we want to find the solution. The resolution. How do we find the sun? Exactly. So where would we find? Here's my second page. Where do I find my where we have the solution in here? Where do we have that? Anybody at home? What? Yeah, I'm looking for. Yep, page 3. We're on page 3. Looking for my friends at home. For all my remote friends. Anybody have an idea? Astria, do you have an idea you want to share? No? Okay. You're looking though. I like that you're looking. Johnson, any ideas? Where does it show our solution? No? All right, Miss Madison, you seem to be my only one. 5th paragraph. So this one here, or the 5th one on this page? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wait, what does it start with? What does it start with? Just then. All right. Just then, Kicker's long tongue shot out of his mouth, wrapped around a startled fly, and pulled it inside. Kicker did this again and again, catching more flies than all the other flies combined, all the while barely moving a muscle. Of course, Kicker won the contest, suddenly, blah, 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 setting the record for the most flies caught ever. Is that our solution? Yes. I'm not going to draw a sun like their sun. I'm just going to draw, whoop, there's my sun. All right, and the point. Now the point may not be someplace I can draw it specifically. Sometimes a story will tell you, you know, and so the idea of a story is, what is the message or purpose of this narrative? Well, actually, that should be on the that should not be on the first page again, right? What is the point of this story? To tell us what? Noah? Why the frog has a long tongue. So my point is really part of my title, isn't it? Now, sometimes a story might not be a pourquoi. It might not be telling you why something is happening. So in a different case, when it's not a pourquoi, the point might be the message of the you know, the lesson that the author's trying to teach you, right? And that might not be actually said specifically in the story. That's something you are inferring from what the sentences are. Yes, Charlie? So instead of like a point? Ah, good question, Charlie. I think it's meant to be like a point, like when you draw like a point. It's just, but then that would be too tiny to see, and so they just made it into a bigger circle. I see your point. So, and why it could be a triangle, you're right. I don't know. They just chose that one. All right, so we identified all those sections. We're going to be doing some more work today, and you are eventually we're going to write a story, we're going to start a story tomorrow. That's a group story. Then you're going to write your own story that's a pourquoi. So we really want to make sure that you understand what all these sections are, because your story is going to need all of those sections, and you're going to have to be able to say, this is my problem. This is how my character reacts. This is my solution. And this is where I started my story, where I showed where and when and my characters. All right? So that's where we're building up to. Hey, Miss Isabella, I hope you're sitting up, my friend. At school, we need to sit up. Thank you. All right. Yes, Miss Madison. Nope, we're not zooming today, unfortunately. Sorry. All right, so I just wanted to review a little bit and have a little chat about what the expectations for a breakout room are, because you are going to need to be able to do that when everybody is remote. My remote friends are well versed at that, I know. All right, so let's get started. That was a good review of what we did yesterday. Okay, where's my slides? Ah, there we go. Woo! There's had a panic attack there. All right. So today we're going to start with another poem, and then we're going to be talking about another pourquoi. We're going to see another example of a pourquoi. And there's that one that we just went through. I didn't have to show you all those pages because we just did them together. All right, so today we're going to read another another different poem. It's called The Poison Dart Frogs. And it came from this book, Lizards, Frogs, and Pollywogs. And we're going to read it fluently. Who remembers what fluently means? All right, Surname. Just the right volume. Very good. Henrik? Read with expression. Very good, Sunny. Don't read like a robot, right? Read smoothly. Josh? That okay? Or was you? Did Sunny get yours? Yeah. Okay. Marin? So it's about pace too, right? And so it's very important, especially when we're reading a poem, because poems aren't stories, they aren't necessarily sentences. So we can use punctuation, and that's another thing we need to use, but sometimes it's not exactly like we were reading a story, is it? So your voice might be a little bit different. So today our learning targets are, we're gonna read a poem aloud, fluently. Then we're gonna go look at that poem closely, and we're gonna answer some questions. And then we are going to see another pourquoi tale, and we're going to look at the characters, the setting, and how the story plans out. And there's all the things we're going to look at. Setting, events, clear sequence. Everything needs to be in order. So today we're going to be close readers. We're going to look at some words that we may not know. We're going to think about the gist of the poem and what the author meant by all of the different things that they gave. So, does anybody have an idea in their head of what maybe a poison dart frog looks like? Anybody have an idea of what a poison dart frog in nature might look like? Anybody at home? Poison dart frog. Charlie.
They are colorful.
They are colorful. They are. Very good. Ben, anything else you can add to that?
They have spots.
They have spots. All right. Very good. Lyric. They might be blue.
Mrs. Tao, if you're in the building, can you please call the office?
All right. So, if I move this a little bit here, we can see that they can come in a lot of different colors here, can't they? August, what else do we know about poison dart frogs? They have webbed feet, okay. They are, so we're sort of seeing some of the pictures that they do, but they're not as webbed as some of the other frogs, but they definitely have that shape to them, don't they? All right, Madison.
They might be poison.
We're going to talk about poison too. You guys have a lot of good schema before we even start. Nice job. I'm going to pull up real quick. I just wanted you to see. So this might give you, oh my goodness, my voices. You might be able to see that we have a lot of different colors going on here. And like Ben said, they've got spots, but do you see some other different markings on them besides just spots sometimes? They have all kinds of interesting. Okay, so we're going to talk about that a little bit later. Hey, look at some of them. What do you notice about this one here? They can be pretty small. Ah, like kicker. Yeah, good connection. Look at this one also. He just barely fits on that finger, doesn't he?
Kicker. That's a poison
All
dart.
right. All right, here we go. So I'm going to use my dot camera. Here we go. Gotta calm down, my friend. All right, we're going to read this poem together. I'm going to give this version because it's a little easier to see and I can make it nice and big versus the screen. All right, here we go. The Poison Dart Frogs. I'm going to read it 3 times and I want you to imagine, right? We're going to start with that first and then eventually you'll read and then we'll talk about it. Brown with oval orange spots. crimson mottled, black with blots, neon green with blue-black bands, tangerine with lemon strands, banana yellow, ultramarine, almost any color seen. Mrs. Aubin, you are gonna be happy. Almost any color seen, and though their poison can tip a dart, these frogs are masters of fine art. I'm gonna read it again. Brown, and you're imagining in your head, right? Brown with oval, orange spots, crimson mottled, black with blots, neon green with blue-black bands, tangerine with lemon strands, banana yellow, ultramarine, almost any color seen. And though their poison can tip a dart, these frogs are masters of fine art. One more time. And then you can be reading in your head the words while you can be practicing your fluent reading in your mind, and then in a minute you got all will read. Here we go. Brown with oval orange spots, crimson mottled, black with blots, neon green with blue-black bands, tangerine with lemon strands, banana yellow, ultramarine, almost any color seen. And though their poison can tip a dart, these frogs are masters of fine art. Okay, you guys ready to read with me? Here we go. Everybody at home can read along with me too. Here we go. The poison dart frogs. Brown with oval spots, crimson mottled, black with blots, neon green with blue-black bands, tangerine with lemon strands, banana yellow, ultramarine, almost any color seen. And though their poison can tip a dart, these frogs are masters of fine art. Yep, go for it. Yep, no worries, son. All right, nice job, my friends. All right, so now we're gonna dive into this, but we're gonna do some close reading. And some of those words may be unfamiliar to you. Some of those might, or maybe not. So let's take a look open up your workbook to page 8. Page 8, it says, poison dart frogs. What adjectives are used to describe the poison dart frogs? So look, I'm gonna put it up here. What word is used to describe what they look like? So this is page 8. You're doing the top half of page 8. August. Banana yellow. Let's write that down. Banana yellow. So why did they say banana yellow? Do you think, August? Because they're yellow frogs, but are there lots of different colors of yellow? Yeah. Is a banana pretty bright? Isn't it bright yellow? So when we were looking at those little dart frogs, we probably saw some that were pretty bright and yellow. So banana yellow is one of the descriptors. What else? What else? Somebody who hasn't participated yet. Come on, friends, the writer. Ultramarine. Let's talk about what that means. Ultramarine. Anybody have a guess on what color that is? Ultramarine. Ellie, do you think you know what that means? It is a type of blue. How did you guess? Awesome. Okay, because you like to do art, don't you? So you might have seen it on a crayon or some paints or something as a color. What do you? Anybody else can give me a hint about how they know that that might be a kind of blue? Abby?
It's like blackish bluish.
Well, ultramarine. It's going to be a deep, bright blue. It's going to be a bright blue. So if we go back to, just for a second, my pictures that I had for my,
I think I saw one that was.
yeah. So, oh, that one right there is going to be an ultramarine. Look at that. Very blue, right? Super, look at those. Super blue. All right. Is that banana yellow? Yeah. Banana yellow. All right. Back to our job. What other? So ultramarine means it's a bright blue, isn't it? That's what it means. Bright blue. So you might have ultramarine. So marine, as you think of it when you in the word in various other situations, marine usually means water in some way. So water is what color in our heads? Blue. And ultra. Ultra means very, right? So ultramarine would be very blue. Very good. All right, let's break those words down. Lila Morris, what other things described are
There's also
tangerine? I'm going to make that two of them. Tangerine and lemon strands. I'm going to make that into two because they can be, because it says that basically you have two different colors on this frog, right? This frog has two different colors. What does tangerine tell us? Instead of just saying a boring color, what does this kind of get us to feel like? Tangerine. Think about what's a tangerine look like in real life. What color is that? What color is that, Max? Sort of, well, a peach is peach, yes. Tangerine is, they're both a similar color. What? Orange? Orange, right? So this is orange, but instead of just saying boring orange, the author decided to make, because poetry is really putting word, we talked about this when we did our pumpkin poetry in our when we did it last month. We talked about the poetry is an author putting pictures into words. So when you think of a tangerine, you can think of that color. They just say orange. That's kind of a boring way to say that. Lemon strands. What do we think that tangerine with lemon strands? Another interesting way to say something. Cooper? Okay, so what is the color of lemon? So again, so yellow. And then what, so strands is like saying stripes, right? So orange with yellow, so basically tangerine with lemon strands means orange with yellow stripes. But it sounds much more interesting the way the author says it than just saying, you know, orange with yellow stripes. Sort of interesting language, putting those words, making those words into pictures. What other things, my friends at home, what other ways? Astria, what other ways do we describe the poison dart frog?
Brown with orange oval spots.
Very good. All right, so brown. So brown with oval. What shape is oval? Okay, somewhat round, but not exactly, not like roundish, right? Oval spot, orange spots. Can we see that in our head? Brown with oval, orange spots. Can you see that in your head? Yep, gives us a good thing. So they, all right, what else? I know you're trying to write that down, but I'm gonna stick this in here real quick. All right, Charlie Carr. Bands, yes. So neon green. Neon green. What does neon mean? What is it when you think of neon? Nixon, what does neon mean?
Well, it's kind of a techno.
It's bright, right? Yes, Mr. Ben, what else did you want to add?
I thought neon sounded something that sounded like technology. I just
so it doesn't necessarily have to be, but when we see neon things like actual neon, it can be
yeah,
not like a sign,
bright green.
right?
Yeah, that's right.
So neon green is bright green, right? Almost, neon almost does what? Glow. It almost glows. So it could be glowing because it's so bright. Now, does the frog glow? No, but it's just saying it's so bright it could glow. Neon green with blue-black bands. What are bands? No, not the musical ones this time, my friend. A band. Haley?
A band it's like a rubber band.
Okay. Okay, so you're giving me some examples, but I need to know a definition of it. What do you think, Eddie? It's like so here we had stripes, right? But is it a little stripe? It's a thick, like a thick stripe, right? Thick stripe. Or strip. I can even say strip, right? A thick strip. So it goes, it's not thin, it's thick, like you were saying, right? It's like a hairband or something. Thick strip or thick stripe. So that's different than the lemony strands, right? Strand was thin. This band means it's bigger, right? All right, any more? Boy, we got a lot of describing going on here. What does that mean? What do you see, Miss Ellie? All right, so you left out the words at the beginning, because these are the ones we have to talk about, because these are vocabulary words, aren't they? So crimson, we're gonna get all of it in here. Crimson. Crimson. Does anybody know what crimson is? Anybody at home? Oh, anybody at home know what crimson is? Marin? It's kind of light brown. It's more of another color though that's mixed with it. So you're on the right track though. It's. Do you think, Madison? Do you know what crimson is?
I was kind of with maroon, but I think it's like bright brown with yellow.
Not yellow, but there's a tinge to brown. You're definitely right there. Haley? No.
It's kind of like very light brown.
No, not brown. We're not going for brown, Ryder?
Brown and red.
Red. Crimson is red. It's kind of dark red. Dark
Yeah,
red.
I
So
know.
that's why.
Crimson's pretty dark red.
Pretty dark red. Crimson.
Yeah.
So crimson, so it's dark red, mottled. What does mottled mean? Now these are T's, not T's.
I think I know what mottled means.
Mottled black with blots. Elena? It's what? When they show it? No, it's another pattern. Should we go back to look at our pictures? Let's go look at our guys again over here. Modeled. Let's look at modeled. So these guys definitely have some, what would we call these? We call these the dots, the spots, right? But let's look at those. Are those normal shapes? They're like blobs, right? And this one has little ones and it has big ones. This one over here he's got some, this one's got this, he's blue and yellow, but look at those shapes. So modeled means a bunch of little bits, just like it's modeled means that it's all thrown, there's no organization, there's no like neat pattern. Modeled means, oh, I gotta go back to my dock camera. It's hard to write things down modeled means no pattern, but it's just like somebody threw some paint at something, right? Modeled means like, here's a big splotch, here's a little one. Here's a big, this one might be a weird shape over here and a weird shape over here. Modeled means no particular pattern. So it says, crimson mottled black with blots. What are blots going to be then? What do you think, Nixon? Spots, but are they going to be nice and round? No. Blots are odd shapes. Yep, they could be odd shapes.
What can happen with you when you get shot by a paintball?
All right. So, wow. Did this do a pretty good job of describing? Wow. We really could have it in our heads, right? All right. So, down here, you have 1 minute. Sorry, not very long. To draw yourself, I'll put them up here. Draw yourself a frog. It's not going to be perfect. Just sketch out a frog. Oh, where'd it go? All right, there you go. Sketch out a dart frog. Go for it. Go, go, go. Doesn't have to be perfect. I'm not grading it. Draw yourself a frog. Bottom of the page 8. Bottom of page 8. Unfortunately, we don't have time to color them at the moment. So we're not calling out right now. I'm not. Mrs. Harrison is definitely not expecting artistic endeavors. You'll notice she's not drawing one right now. Oh, yeah, about 30 seconds left. Yeah. So, are you drawing what you think a frog looks like or what an actual frog looks like? Hopefully you're looking at the picture, not making a cute cartoon frog. Think about Austin and his butterfly, right? Think about Austin and his butterfly. He originally drew his butterfly what he thought it looked like instead of what it really looked like. So, again, I'm not expecting any super artistic endeavors, but I want you to draw what it looks like, not what you think it looks like. Don't make cartoons. No cartoons. All right. All right. You're about, we're going to go 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Put your pencil down. Put your pencil down. All right. We have, ready to rock? Okay, on page 9, you have this sentence right here. This is the last section of our poem, and it's really important. And though their poison can tip a dart, these frogs are masters of fine art. So let's look at what that really means. All right, so so we talked about that poison dart frogs are poisonous because the name of them is poison dart frogs. So they are poisonous. Now, do they use a dart? No. The frogs themselves do not. Why would a frog want to be poisonous? We're going to talk about this a lot more when we talk about the science of things, but why would a frog want to, why would a frog want to be poisonous? To protect itself, exactly. And its colors, bright colors, tell the rest of the world, you don't want to eat me, I'm trouble. So I'm poisonous. So that's what those colors are about. So in the rainforest jungle, oh, it's way too big. Sorry, hold on. So, we're not having conversations right now. So long ago, hunters in some regions of the rainforest learned how to extract poison from poison dart frogs and to recognize which ones had the deadliest poison. The hunters used the poison on the tips of their blowpipe darts and could kill a monkey or a jaguar in a matter of minutes with just one dart. So, although their poison can tip a dart, they're not tipping the dart, right? Somebody else in the rainforest is using it, right? These frogs are masters of fine art. So first of all, let's sketch in this spot. Here's what's going to be part of the dart, or here's where they're going to blow out. Yep, we're sketching that. Our dart is going to have a point, right? Your dart can look different. Again, Mrs. Harrison is not the artist. We know that. So where would we put the poison? On the tip, right? We put it over here. We color. Okay. And then so the hunter would blow the dart to whatever it needed to kill. So maybe it's protecting itself. Maybe it's hunting for food. and it would use, yep, that's it, and it would use that dart to get its prey or protect itself. All right, but let's talk about, so are the frogs trying to kill anybody? No. The poison dart frogs are not out, they're not hunters. They're not trying to kill anybody. They're just protecting themselves, and people have figured out how to use them to do that. But what are the frogs? But it says these frogs are masters of fine art. So let's look at, what's a master? What is a person who's a master of something, Paxton? Say that again. You forgot. All right. Robert.
It's something that's good at something.
Somebody that's good at something, right? A master, what's another word that we've been using in our guiding questions kind of about that? Do you remember, August? Expert. A master is like an expert. They're really good at what they do. So master, so they're saying the frogs are really super good. They know a lot. They're good of fine art. Now, what does that part mean? Fine arts. Next one. It's hard to explain, isn't it? Anybody at home can explain fine art. Think about what fine art might mean. Fine art. Abby, what do you think?
I think fine art is
like a painting. That's a great example. Paintings are what when you look at them? They're, how do you feel? What word can you use to describe a painting? It is art, but like when you look at it, you're like amazed. It's beautiful, right? Maybe it has lots of colors. Maybe it was done just perfectly with the just right shapes and the just right. Maybe somebody, you know, the artist made it just perfect. Writer, add something to this.
I just want to add something to hers. I just want to say something.
Yeah.
The darts kind of look like paintbrushes.
Ah.
It does.
All right. You know what, writer? I thought the same thing, to tell you the truth. And it reminded me that, so fine art is things that are beautiful. So it doesn't just have to be a painting. Fine art can be music. Fine art is something someone creates that is beautiful. Fine art is something someone creates that is beautiful. So let's read it one more time. And though the poison can tip a dart, their poison can tip a dart, these frogs are masters of fine art. So they are experts in beauty, aren't they? That's what they are. So although their poison can, so what can their poison do? They can tip a dart, but what's the point of the dart? To kill and to protect. So although their poison can kill or protect them, these frogs are what? But master, but how can we say that in a different way? Experts in beauty. And although they're poison, and again, they are not intending to kill anybody. They are just protecting themselves, but they are deadly, right? And although their poison can be deadly, I can also write that there down there. You don't have to copy all these, but even though they can be deadly or kill, they're actually just experts in beauty. It's an interesting way to look at an animal, isn't it? I think it's very eloquent, the way that they wrote that, because it gives us a whole, when we looked at them, they are beautiful. We looked at them and we're like, ooh, look how bright they are and how pretty they are. But this really puts that in a different way, doesn't it? I think it does. All right, my friends, nice job. So we're gonna move on to, I'm gonna not bother to take out my Google Slides at the moment, but we need to can we come up with some ideas about frogs about some questions that we wonder that we could maybe write eventually a pourquoi about. Could we do that? So so the first one was why, the first example was why do frogs have long tongues? What are some other things that we could wonder about a frog? Why are frogs poisonous? But we could write a story about that, right? Why are they different colors? Okay, hold on. I can only write so fast. You got good ideas though. Keep going. Why do they jump so high? Why do they? Oh. Why do they eat flies? Oh, flies. This is what happened. This is why I'm going to put on another sheet of paper. Lucas, what's another question? Why do they have long tongues? I've got that one. That's a good one, isn't it? Bird.
Why are they different colors?
Oh, we got that one. Excellent. Charlie Carr. Why aren't they fast? Why aren't they fast or why are they fast? Aren't they fast? All right. We're going to continue to add some things. So if I don't get yours today, I might have to do it tomorrow or the next day. Abby?
Hey, just so you know, tadpoles are extremely agile, but we're talking adult frogs here. Hey, are poison arrow frogs ever tadpoles?
Say it again.
Why do frogs
Start as a, hey, so Ethan helped you out. Why do frogs
Are
start
poison arrow frogs ever tadpoles?
a tadpole? Why do what? Why do their eyes bulge?
Are poison arrow frogs tadpoles? Are they ever tadpoles?
Bulge. These are all good questions. Paxton. Why are they so small? So I'm looking for some hands. So that was a good question, Finn, but I'm not ready to have you say it. So Sawyer. And can I put like this thumbnail there?
Are poison dog frogs ever white?
Okay, let me say one. Why do they jump? All right, so I have why do they jump so high? So we could just say why do they jump? We could keep it at that as well. And then Charlie just said why are frogs not white, or are frogs white? Charlie, can you clarify for me?
I said, oh, don't frogs ever white?
Oh, okay. So we are, that's a good question. We're looking at why questions right now. So, but I like that question. But you notice that all of these questions start with the word why. So could you maybe reword that into a why question?
Why are poisonous snow frogs not white?
Ah, that was good. Anybody else at home that I can't see at the moment have any ideas? Surname?
It says I think that was my question. Why do frogs start out as a tadpole?
Sorry, I'm having a hard time hearing over the other people who are talking. So say surname again. Why can't all frogs climb trees. Okay.
What?
So I know that we have a lot of ideas. I unfortunately am out of paper. So we are going to, so hold on. So I know that we go in the back, but we also have something else we have to do today. So tomorrow, so if you have a question or if you think of one overnight, think of a question and think about it. We're going to add more to our list tomorrow, okay? Because what we're hoping to do is we're collecting a list of possible pourquoi ideas that you are, eventually you're going to write a story that's a pourquoi. Why do frogs, why are frogs? Why, you're going to eventually write a story. So we're collecting ideas until everybody comes up with one that they hopefully would like to do a story with. So I have a poison dart frog story. So if you could open your book, you're not going to draw or write anything, so you can put your pencil down. But I would like you to look at on page 12. You have the start of a story. It's why the poison dart frog is so colorful. That was one of our questions, wasn't it? So we're going to use this. So we're going to do this part later, not today. But the story, and look at the symbols. We're going to talk about how this symbol and this section of the story go together. Do you remember those symbols? So let's look at this. Okay, so this part here, if you remember right, this is our establishing the situation. So I'm going to read the story, and I want you to think about how does this paragraph establish the situation of the story. All right. Long, long ago, deep in Africa, a boy named Rana lived by himself in a secret magical cave. On the outside, the cave was dull, rocky, and gray, but inside, the walls of the cave were covered with glittering jewels, rubies, diamonds, and sapphires. All right, how is that establishing the situation? What does that paragraph tell us? Noah? Where the story is taking place. Where is the story taking place? Deep in Africa, right? And where in Africa? And we don't know where exactly, but we know what's the other idea of where the story is taking place. In a secret, magical cave. Very good. What else is establishing our situation, Serne? Okay, so they're giving us they're giving us an idea of maybe what's to come in the story, that there's these precious things that are inside the cave. What else, Haley?
It was dull, rocky, and gray on the outside.
Okay, so they're giving us again a visual idea of where we are in the story, right? That if we walked up to the cave, would we be interested in it? No, because it's dull and gray. But if we go into the cave, is there good stuff in there?
Yeah.
Yes. What are those first three words? Those first three words. What do they tell us?
It was a long time.
Long ago. And is that part of establishing? That's the when, isn't it? Of when our story is taking place? Is it taking place now?
No.
It's taking place when? Long ago, right? All right. It's like Star Wars. Yes, it does kind of sound like that's the beginning of Star Wars, isn't it? A galaxy far, far away. All right, here we go. What does this symbol stand for? What does that smiley face stand for, Abby? Introducing the characters. Nice job. All right. Rana shared his cave with 3 pet frogs. They were named Drab, Ash, and Gray, and their skin was a dull gray-green. Drab was tiny, Ash was tinier, and little Gray was the tiniest of all. Okay, so we're introducing, how many characters do we have now?
4.
We have 4 characters. We have Rana, which they mention in this paragraph, but we don't know really much about that character, do we? Other than their name and they live in a cave, right? Okay, and then we have 3 other characters. Did we learn quite a bit about them?
Yeah.
Yes, that they are what size? Tiny. And what else?
Tinier.
Tinier, tiniest. So they're
And their skin was
and their skin was dull green. Does that sound like a poison dart frog? This is why the poison dart frog is so colorful. So do they sound like that they are colorful yet? No. Are we going to become colorful, do you think, in the story? Probably. But do they start out colorful? No, they do not. All right. Next page, page 13. You're reading with your eyes while I read aloud. So some of you are just looking at me, which means you're not reading aloud. So here is our cloud. What does the cloud stand for? The problem. All right. So this part is probably going to introduce what's the problem, right? Here we go. You're reading with your eyes while I read aloud. One day, Rana was playing a hunting game with his frog friend. He accidentally knocked over one of the torches that lit up the cave. The torch fell into the dried grass Rana used for a bed and set it on fire. Sound like a problem? Yes, very much so, huh? All right. So, who can state in their own words? What's the problem? Lyric, what's the problem? Nope, Lyric is going to tell me. Thank you. That doesn't have, say again, sir? Doesn't have a bed because now they just lit it on fire. Do you think there's more problem than just the fact that they don't have a bed?
Yeah.
Now we have what going on, Charlie? Okay, there's all kinds of problems here. Who's in danger? The frogs and the frogs are in danger now, right? And Rana probably is in danger, and there's a big fire going on in the house, in the cave, right? That's a problem. Paxton, what else? The connection there, definitely a problem. Instead of rain on us, it's smoke coming up, huh? All right, so then here we have our next symbol. Our next symbol is showing what? What does that arrow stand for? You can go back and look. What does that arrow? I like how Henrik was like, what's going on here? How they react to the problem. How does the character, what does the character think? What does the character say? What does the character do? Very good. So let's find out. Let's find out. Help. Please help. Help, please help me, Rana screamed. He knew he had to find a way out. He ran for the entrance, but it was in flames. He reached down to pick up drab ash and gray, but his little friends hopped away from him. He followed them, but they just hopped more quickly, deeper and deeper into the cave. All right, so what part of that shows, so right now, do we have any thinking? Is there any of those, do any of those sentences show what he's thinking? Yes, there is. Look again. Look on page 13. Tell me what sentence shows what he is thinking. Because there is a sentence that it doesn't say he thought, but it does use a word that tells us what he's thinking. Hold on. Let me see, my friends at home can tell me. Isabella, can you see the sentence that tells us what he's thinking? Can you share, Miss Isabella? Tell me what sentence. Can you tell me what sentence in this paragraph shows what he's thinking?
I don't know.
All right. Anybody else can help her out? Haley, can you find a sentence that tells? What? No? Logan, give it a try, bud. Thank you for raising your hand.
He was amazed.
Ooh, say it a little louder, bud.
He was amazed.
Still can't hear you for some reason.
Rana was amazed.
Okay.
He was amazed.
He was Okay. So right in this paragraph, look at this sentence here. It says he knew. Is that when you're thinking then? Yep. He knew he had to find a way out. So what did he do to try to get out? This is the doing part. What did he say? What did he do, Elena? He ran towards the entrance, didn't he? That didn't help though. So what did he try? And what else did he try to do? Well, he went deeper after. He tried to get the frogs, right? He had to follow his frog friends. Where in there does it say what he said? What is we know that we have think what the character thinks, what the character does, and what the character says. He says, "Help! Please help me!" Right? So we've got talking, we've got thinking, and we have doing. Can everybody do that with their finger? Can you show me where is the talking? Where is where he says what he's thinking or what he's feeling? Then put your finger on where it shows what he's thinking, and then put your finger on where it shows what he does. I am not seeing lots of fingers. Let's try that again. Everybody take out your pointer finger. Here we go. We're on the bottom of page 13. Put your finger on where it shows where he says something about the problem. Where's your finger? Where are those pointing fingers? It needs to be on the paper. Some of you are not. Right there. Is it right there? Yes. Help. Everybody say it. Help. Please help me. Very good. Take that finger. Put it where it shows what he's thinking. He knew, right? He knew he had to find a way out. All right, put your finger where the doing is. He ran for the entrance, but it was in flames. He reached down to pick up Drab, Ash, and Gray, but his little friends hopped away from him. He followed them, but they hopped more quickly, deeper into the cave. All right, so there's thinking, doing. So your stories are going to have to go with that, all right? Here's our next, page 14. Ooh, I gotta wrap it up. Page 14, we're gonna have to put it on pause. We're gonna start with this tomorrow. We'll find out, we'll look at it's actually a great place to leave it because now you have to wonder what happened at the end, what happened at the end of the story. All right, my friends, you did a great job. Yes, ma'am. All right, Astria and Charlie B, you need to stay on so that Mrs. Aubin can do a quick, just 5 minutes, she says. Can you guys hold on that for me? All right, 5 minutes, Astria and Charlie. All right, everybody else, we'll see you at 12:45 for whatever you need to do then. All right, my friends, so Astria and Charlie, stay there. All right.
Bye.
Did you read through the story?
I read the whole
story. All right.
I like this is now my new favorite song. Yeah.
All right. Does everybody have a thing here for art? Yeah. And recess. Yeah. All right. That's how we know where the line's going. All right, thank you. I'm going to talk it again. Good stuff. And
Keep going. I think I'm
Okay. Oh no. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I'm getting Mrs. Harrison's iPad and then I will go to my room and you're it.
Okay.
Let's do it. Is it faster if I punch in? Or do I have to switch it over? I just thought while you were doing that, I just. Okay, guys, thank you so much for waiting. Who wants to go first? All right, Astria, we'll let you go first. And Charlie, you'll go in second. Okay, bud? I'm gonna share my screen. All right, this is called How Ryan Made a Difference. You guys are reading different ones, so this will be just fine. How Ryan Made a Difference. I'd like you to read this story to me. Please do your best reading. If you don't know a word, I'll read the word for you. And be ready to tell me all about the story when you're finished. Let's see if I can get this a little straighter for you. All right, whenever you're ready, you can begin.
One day.
Oh, wait, stop. Okay, start over. Ready, begin.
One day, a boy named Ryan asked his parents for $17. His teacher had explained that $17 was
$70?
$70 was a significant